Hallo Freunde der Nacht und herzlich willkommen hier zur später Stunde, um genau zu sein, um halb 3 Uhr morgens, bei einem neuen Angespielt mit eurem Curse, und zwar Brew Barons, The Brew Barons. Ihr lest die links oben, ich hab's gesehen, ich hab's kurz im Stream schon mal schlagen, dachte mir, ey, das ist verrückt genug, das musst du mal spielen. Sprachauswahl ist nicht verfügbar, es gibt nur Englisch. Was anderes kann man hier nicht auswählen, zumindest habe ich nicht rausgefunden wie. Alles andere funktioniert hier, nur da ist kein Dropdown-Menü hinter. Ja. Ich mach mal kurz noch ein kleines bisschen die Musik leiser. So ist gut. Ja, und dann fangen wir einfach mal mit neues Spiel. Wir haben ja außer zwischen zwei Piloten, also einen Piloten und eine Pilotin. Wenn der Pilot zugewiesen ist, kann er extra Sammelgegenstände sammeln, okay. Und wird dizzy, also benommen, wenn er zu lange boostet im Pilotensitz. Dritter ist noch nicht erkannt. Cargo-Transfer kostet nichts und die Eltern rufen regelmäßig an und fragen die, wie es geht, was sich erschöpft. Ja, das würde mich auch erschöpfen. Wenn das meine Eltern machen, für mich regelmäßig auf der Arbeit anrufen, wie es mir geht, wäre ich höchstwahrscheinlich jetzt schon vollweise. So, wir nehmen wir als Piloten, wen als Co-Pilot. Nehmen wir ihn als Piloten. Oder haben wir noch weitere zur Auswahl? Nee, aktuell noch nicht. Das ist mal drinne. Weil ich habe das Spiel noch nie gespielt, aber es hat was mit Brauen zu tun, mit Lufttransport und mit Piraten, also Luftpiraten. Also quasi so ein bisschen Captain Baloo-mäßig oder sowas. Ich bin da mal sehr gespannt, was uns da jetzt erwartet. Hier Start Game. Enter Safe Name. Gerst, wie immer. Okay, das ist natürlich cool, dass du doch deine eigenen Bilder mit reinbringen kannst.
Welcome to the sun-bathed islands of the Adli Bay. At the middle of these warm waters sits the capital, Veli, the largest among all other cities in the bay and a true sight to behold. Rich in natural resources, bountiful fishing and favorable soil, the Adli Bay has boomed into a bustling paradise with boats coming and going with product in tow. Seaplanes and flying boats, an aeronautical invention only a few decades old and growing in popularity. Those brave enough to pilot a plane tend to do so for an occupational or economical advantage, while others, for crooked reasons. Brew pirates, backwater bootleggers. They taint these lands in choking smog, plunder ingredients and steal from the peaceful locals to forcefully sustain their brewing monopoly. The pirates operate in secrecy from the surrounding landmass of the Marieth and Delholdin nations. Their presence expands, forcing their brews as they rove freely and unchallenged. That was until two unlikely heroes stepped forward. Nigel, a flunky from the Marieth Flight Academy. Undeterred, Nigel refuses to give up on his dream of becoming a career pilot. With very little flight hours on his record, he's eager to find anyone that will fly with him. And Francie, the daughter of a successful merchant in the Marieth capital. When she learned of her father's shop being ransacked by the pirates for goods used in their brewing production, she vowed to help protect the bay and return what was stolen. In this time of turmoil, our unlikely heroes unite under one banner and one name. Henceforth, the Brew Barons came to be.
Also hier ist es quasi der Brauerbaron, nicht der rote Baron, sondern der brauige Baron. Braupiraten. Wie geil ist das denn? Wie kommt man auf so eine Idee? Ja, na? Doch jetzt kein Crash. Ja, geht schon weiter. Gut.
All right, we're here. The city of Veli. The last remaining location in the bay that still shines bright with opportunity.
not a bad place to start a brewing enterprise. I hope the locals won't mind us setting up shop here.
Some may be wary, but I'm sure we can sway minds and gather support if we can produce quality brews people actually like.
All right then, let's do this. I just wish we had enough money left over from the renovations to buy a better seaplane. The salesman may have swindled us with this junker.
In der Regel. Okay, das ist wirklich eine Rostlaube.
She floats, sir, as I knew it would. Now before you head off, just a reminder to keep your speed low when entering or exiting any harbors. Harbors often have plenty of boats and obstacles that can cause some real harm to you and your plane if you're not careful, so just keep your throttle low and you'll do fine.
I'm more concerned about the illuminated rust holes shining up through the floor.
Ja.
Rust. Just think of it as weight reduction. Anyhow, remember what I said. Oh, and try not to fly too high. That engine has carburetor issues. Bye-bye now.
Super.
Oh boy. Well, let's see what this thing can do. I'll give you a quick refresher on the plane controls and instruments.
Ja, an dieser Stelle einmal angemerkt, ich hatte am Anfang kurz die Auswahl, ob ich die einfachen Mauskontrollen oder die realistischeren Kontrollen haben möchte, aber die realistischen Kontrollen sind tatsächlich für den Joystick bzw. für den Pad ausgelegt und ich spiele mit Maus und Tastatur, also habe ich mich für die einfacheren Kontrollen entschieden. Ich hoffe mal, das war die richtige Entscheidung. Und das muss ich noch irgendwo meinen Controller mal rauskramen.
Great, let's start.
This is our fuel gauge. We have a full tank at the moment and shouldn't need to refuel for a while. Oh, and one role of the co-pilot is to give regular notifications on fuel levels.
Sehr schön.
This meter represents the plane's cargo capacity. And currently, we aren't carrying anything. Take note that a heavily loaded plane will become a bit more sluggish in handling and speed. Highlighted here is our compass, attitude indicator, speed display, and altitude display. This is the engine throttle. Hold the throttle input to gradually raise or lower the plane speed. The throttle amount will remain fixed at that location when released. Just remember to lower your throttle when you want to slow down or stop. The red portion of the throttle bar represents sustained engine damage. Damage will limit engine performance. Below that is the plane health bar. From the looks of it, our plane currently sits around quarter health with reduced engine performance.
Also halber Motor platt und das wird eigentlich nur noch durch Tesa und Spucke zusammengehalten. Was man hier auf den Flügeln sieht, der Finger, die Spitzen und alles. Boah. F-Control.
Next to the throttle bar is the propeller pitch toggle. Simply put, you can invert your propeller angle and make the plane traverse either forwards or reverse. You would only want to use this if the plane gets snagged or stuck. And finally, steering the plane. Simply point the reticle in the direction you want to go, and I'm sure your flying intuition will take over.
Ja, das ist dann wohl eher hier mit dem Umdrehen für, wenn du schwimmst und nicht fliegst.
It's coming back to me now. I recall the ignition button has to be held for several seconds in order to fire the engine up.
That's right. Hold the ignition button to start up the plane. Apply some throttle and follow the ring markers. They will lead us to the brewery.
Oh mein Gott. Damit sollen wir fliegen? Ruder abgerissen, hinten keine Ruderflügel.
The plane looks like it's about to sink at any moment.
Ja.
Huh. Are they really flying in that thing?
I don't think that plane's gonna make it wherever they're heading.
Am I seeing that wrong? Does that plane have no wings?
Ja.
Oh, jeez. What are those people doing flying that
Ein bisschen können wir noch. Schneller kriegen wir aber auch nicht. Das ist ja echt eine Katastrophe hier. Wenn das Ding dass wir nicht das andrehen lassen. Das sieht man doch, dass das Ding total im Arsch ist. Habt ihr dafür doch Geld bekommen, will ich doch mal hoffen.
We've arrived at the brewery. Welcome to our new base of operations.
Mhm.
We own all 3 floors? Huh, not bad.
Yep, it may look a little rundown right now, but it's just a matter of time before we turn this place into a grand establishment that strikes down the pirates' monopoly for good. The second floor contains the actual brewery, while the third floor sits mostly empty, waiting to be converted into a bar. And last, there's our plane hangar that resides at the bottom. See this golden square? This indicates a dockable location. This particular one will take us directly into our hangar. Always reduce your speed when maneuvering into a dockable location. Otherwise, you run the risk of overshooting and possibly crash.
Got it. Now that we're here, let's get this plane inside and fix it up.
Ja, dringend, bitte. Flügel.
Welcome to the hangar. Let's jump right into the basics. From here, you can craft new planes, load or modify an existing one, and purchase new blueprints from the parts catalog. A plane will always need a pilot and co-pilot, which you can assign in the roster tab. You can also assign idle pilots to a few other jobs, such as brewery assistant or bar manager. Before we go any further, let's get this plane fixed up. In order to modify the plane, we must first fix up the structural damage.
Okay, also wir werden ja noch mehr Piloten haben oder mehr Angestellte zumindest. Das ist schon mal gut.
You can do so by opening the repair tab located on the plane information panel. Once opened, move the slider all the way to the right to repair all damage and accept the purchase.
Okay, wir haben 20 Goldmünzen und...
Now that the structural damage is repaired, we can construct some new wings. Start by opening the Modify tab.
Ah, das sieht doch schon viel besser aus.
I noticed the wing construction required not only
Teile.
money, but also crafting materials. I'm sure we'll find more materials while venturing, so we should collect and bring them back. Anyways, I guess we're now ready to fly?
Yep. In fact, I have a small delivery errand destined to a local bar on the other side of town. We can fly over there in no time. We're going to exchange a few bottles of old cider I have for a valuable piece of plane equipment. Let's start by moving all the bottles of cider from the brewery inventory into the plane inventory.
Okay.
The cider is now loaded in the plane's cargo space. It looks like we're all set.
Right. Let's head out. You can undock from the exit menu shown here.
Okay, das ist jetzt zumindest nicht mehr ganz so
Oil,
beängstigend.
flaps, rudder. All meters look good. Ready for the maiden flight?
Mhm.
You betcha. You can see we now have a delivery contract located in the upper right.
Hm?
The bar is located within eye range, just on the opposing side of the city.
Dafür soll ich fliegen.
Take note of the gold docking square and small pier. Pilots should always plan their dock entry route and exit route ahead of time. You'll want to avoid approaching the pier head-on. You will almost certainly crash if you're traveling too quickly. Instead, approach a pier from a perpendicular angle. This presents the safest way to dock at a pier, and also makes for an easy exit.
Hört sich logisch an.
To help you approach at the correct angle, I've placed a series of rings. When you're ready, just follow them, and they will safely guide us to the delivery point. Take note of the ring color as you approach them. Their color will suggest the ideal throttle percent for the smoothest commute. Yellow is 100% throttle. Red is 30% throttle, and 0% just before the goal. I'll remind you of appropriate throttle power mid-flight. Let's start up the plane, throttle up, and get to it.
Okay, okay. Das kriegen wir hin. Obwohl ich einfach rübergesprungen wäre, aber gut. Fliegen wir. Hoffe ich. Ja. Natürlich funktioniert das auch. Also nur was auch mit der Tastatur steuern, haben wir also nicht nur auf Maus angewiesen. Da muss man noch ein bisschen trainieren.
Set 30% throttle now.
Ein bisschen weniger als... Aber gut.
Reduce your speed. Slowly enter the final ring.
Das ist ein spannendes, finde ich. Aber wenn ich dann an Luftkämpfe und sowas denke, ich glaube, das wird... Mal kurz ein bisschen mehr Dampf, damit es nicht ganz so lange dauert.
There. That didn't take long at all. See this animated symbol? This means we're in a dockable location. When the dock input is pressed, it will bring up the docking menu. You can press the dock button now. The docking menu comes with several options such as resting or managing your delivery contracts. For now, let's take the first option and enter the establishment to conduct the delivery.
Der
The
durstige
floor is
Seemann.
sticky. A bit of a dive, ain't it? What self-respecting person would drink in such a place? I'm sure the bar we build will be way better.
Shh. Keep your voice down. The bar owner is coming this way.
Hey, a couple of new faces. Take a seat wherever you wish.
Hi. We're not here to drink. I overheard that your establishment was low on stock and you're willing to exchange for some old plane equipment for more.
Ah, I see you caught my ad in the paper. Is that cider? Great. You have a deal. But be careful with that plane equipment. Hydro aviation can be pretty dangerous in the hands of a novice.
Wait, what? We're toying with hydropropulsion? You've got to be kidding me. I don't know if I can endure such force.
Oh, it's not just hydro propulsion, hydro projectiles too. But relax. I'm sure we'll be fine in your capable hands. Besides, we'll need an advantage if we're going to stand up to those pirates.
Hydropropulsion. Die meinen jetzt nicht Wasserstoff, denn die meinen Wasser.
I can see you two have some grand plans on the horizon. That and your unsightly plane parked outside. Come, I'll help you rig up the equipment. One more adjustment here. And done. You're now set up to boost through the sky with a torrent of high-pressure water blasting behind you. You're also able to shoot water projectiles in front of you. Oh, geez. I lost track of time and got to get back to my bar. One last thing. If you're going to craft more brews, I might be willing to buy some more from you. But first I'll see how my patrons like that cider. Take care.
Well, that's fortunate. We have our first brew client. Hopefully next time we can deliver him something better than that basic cider.
Sounds good. There's ingredients scattered throughout the bay that we could collect and craft into all sorts of unique brews. Though first things first, we should cover the basics of plane abilities. Above the compass is the plane's ability bar. It displays the currently equipped ability and water meter. Plane abilities consume water from this meter when activated. Let's start by testing out the water boosting ability. It's great for hopping island to island at rapid speeds or gaining high altitude quickly. To use the ability, we must first refill the water tank. This will happen automatically when we are close to the water and traveling at around 40 knots or more.
Okay.
Once we have enough water, we can use the ability by pressing the primary ability input. Let's start by following the rings and getting into position. Once we're in position, I will give you the signal to hold down the boost ability and keep it held down.
Dann machen wir die Maschine an und geben Gas. Wir ziehen Wasser.
Okay, boost now. Hold down the boost ability and don't let go.
Okay. 170, 200 Knoten. Jetzt haben wir mal eine richtige Flughöhe hier.
Nigel, are you okay? You look a bit queasy.
Whoa, that was intense. I'm just a bit dizzy. I think flying at those speeds takes some getting used to.
Check it out. We have a view of the whole island from up here. There's small clusters of
Mit
apple trees all
Knoten.
around. We can try collecting those for our brews. Shoot the apple trees with your water projectiles to knock their fruit off and swoop in to collect them. If a tree runs out of apples, move on to another. A depleted tree will grow back after several days elapse. You can switch to the water gun by cycling the primary ability.
Okay.
Head back down to a lower altitude when you're ready and test out the water projectiles.
Sounds like a plan. Let's not forget to refill the water tank when necessary and stay within range of the island. Now let's collect 100 apples.
Sounds like our engine is struggling up here. That salesman definitely sold us a lemon. Let's fly down to a lower altitude before it dies completely.
Ich bin doch schon dabei. Reichweite haben wir da. Das ist auch schon verrückt, mit Wasser auf Bäume schießen und Äpfel zu ernten. Ach, da müssen wir noch drüber fliegen, um die einzusammeln. Na, boah. Okay. Tanken wir erstmal wieder Wasser. Das Flugverhalten ist echt noch so ein Kapitel für sich. Wasser. Und so, mal langsam drehen. Das Ding ist echt ein wenig schwerfällig.
There we go. That's 100 apples loaded in the plane.
Next, we can head back to the brewery to process the apples. I'll place a marker to remind us where the hangar is located.
Die Karte oder sowas. Okay, das ist hier die falsche Ecke. Ich glaube, ich muss einmal auf die andere Seite. Dank, okay. So ein bisschen erstmal zurechtfinden. Ja, das sieht richtig aus. Ah!
Back home in one piece and a cargo hull full of apples. Let's head up to the second floor brewery. You can access it from the exit menu.
So, dann brauchen wir doch mal unseren eigenen Stoff hier.
You managed to fit a fully functional brewery on a single floor?
Klar.
Impressive, right? We can take those apples we just collected and turn them into brews in no time at all. The first thing we need to do is move the apples from the plane inventory into the brewery. You can open the inventory tab to make the transfer. Great. Now that the apples are available to be processed, I can quickly explain the brewery menus. Highlighted at the top are the brewery options. In addition to crafting new brews, you can also look up recipes, manage your back catalog, upgrade the brewery, and manage any delivery contracts. Let's start by opening the Create menu. The large metal pot is where we will blend all our ingredients. Highlighted is the brewery pot interface. It's used to measure percentage ratios of ingredients dispensed into the blending pot. It's important to know that only the top 3 ingredients in the pot of a sufficient quantity will count towards your brew outcome. So don't go throwing in a whole slew of different ingredients in. It won't do you much good. Beneath the ingredient percentages shows the value of your dispensed ingredients. And below that is the alcohol by volume percentage. As you dispense items into your pot, the maximum alcohol potential will increase. Maximum alcohol potential is something you'll want to take note of if you're crafting a brew for a client that has specified how much alcohol the drink should contain. Here's the reset button if you dispense the wrong ingredient or your pot contents don't reach a desired alcohol potential. Now the fun part. This is the ingredient wheel. It allows you to cycle through all of the ingredients that have been placed in the brewery inventory. Let's hold the dispense button to drop all 100 apples into the pot.
Das ist auch schön. Das gefällt mir doch.
The ingredients will blend once a total of 100 units are dispensed. Next, we'll add yeast to the mixture, which will convert into alcohol. The more yeast you add will result in a higher alcohol content, but will never exceed its maximum alcohol potential. You can add yeast by holding down and releasing the scoop button. The longer the hold, the more yeast will be added. The process of adding yeast will stop if you hit the end button or if the alcohol content of your pot reaches its max potential.
Okay. Ist ja ordentlich, ne? Scheppern.
Next, we'll process the mixture. We can ferment, which will produce a higher yield of drinks with a low value and alcohol percentage. Or we can ferment and distill, which will produce lower yield with a higher value product and alcohol percentage. Take note that each method will produce a different type of brew. In this case, our apple mixture can either become a cider or a brandy depending on which method is taken. Let's choose fermenting and let the brew-o-matic work its magic.
The Brew-O-Matic.
Presto! Our mixture has now been turned into a cider. This particular brew turned out a little basic, though no worries. Next time we can try crafting a brew with multiple ingredients to produce a better product. From here we can discard or bottle the brew. Let's select bottle to continue. We can start to customize our product to our liking. We can change the bottle appearance and rename the product to anything we'd like. When you're happy with the design, you can press the finish button.
Ah, cool. Ha. Machen den Piraten Konkurrenz mit unseren eigenen Piraten. Tropical Edition. Eine ganze Menge Auswahl hier. Ah, Special Blend. Okay. Besser billiget. Insider. Form. Immer sowas. Ja, das sieht doch gut aus. Und,
Our new cider brew will now appear under the My Products menu. This menu is used to produce more units of any branded brews you've already crafted. Should a client request a branded brew that's out of stock, you can open this menu to produce more if you have sufficient ingredients. There's one last step. Seeing as we have no client contracts requesting cider, we can stock the cider at our own bar, which we need to set up first. Let's head up to the top floor by accessing the exit menu. There used to be a bunch of old antiques collecting dust up here. It may not look like much and the floors creak terribly.
One that's stocked full with our own brewed products? That would be great.
We'll have to start with a basic tarnished floor plan for the time being. With enough funds, the bar can be renewed and polished. In doing so, it will gather our bar more fame. This is the fame meter. It will rise as we improve our bar and sell quality brews. With more fame comes more sales. It won't be easy, but our goal is to fill this meter and create a renowned top-tier bar that takes sales away from the pirates.
In that case, we should style the bar accordingly to the types of brew we plan to sell. A bar patron that prefers cider might enjoy a rustic bar theme, whereas a wine drinker might prefer something more elegant.
Sure. With all the chairs and antiques I found up here, it shouldn't take much for us to try out several bar themes. We can find a theme that best suits our brews. Let's start by choosing a theme for our bar. You can do so by opening the design panel.
Okay. Teamforsch, 60% Cider, das hört sich doch gut an. Da kriegen wir was Besseres.
Next, let's think of a good name for the
What?
bar. Maybe a name that portrays an establishment of sophistication and class? I'll leave that up to you. The choice is yours. Type the name into the text box and press enter when you're done.
Tja. Vielleicht ein Beispiel für ein. Na komm, nicht. Wandeln wir das mal ein bisschen ab. Statt Flying Dutchman eben den Flying Curseman. Ha!
That's an interesting choice. It's different. Fortunately, we can always change it later. From this menu, you can adjust the cosmetics of our bar and upgrade the theme. Upgrading will help us gain fame a bit faster. Agoni. Ja, sieht doch gut aus. Raucher, wir sind Raucher, also das ist ja ein... Ja. Now with the bar all set up, we'll want to stock our cider so it can be slowly sold over time. You can open the inventory and make the brew transfer. There, we're now open for business. Be sure to keep the bar stocked with brews that suit our chosen theme. In doing so, we'll help keep our patrons happy. We should also get in the habit of checking in on our bar every now and then. We can review our sales history and gossip with the locals that might provide useful feedback.
Right. It looks like we're all set and ready to finally start this. Let's get out there and explore. Make connections, collect ingredients, and grow our brewing enterprise.
Ja.
It looks like we have our first customer already. I suppose the word gets around fast in these sleepy places. If you want to talk to them, do so by clicking the gossip menu and selecting them.
Patron Gothic. Ist doch das Gothic-Menü? Aber warum passiert da nichts?
Welcome. I'm Francie, one of the proprietors of this new establishment.
Okay.
You look a bit troubled.
Leertaste.
Almost
Das
like
war
you
noch
need a
keiner.
drink.
You can say that again. I'm Farmer Gus of the Island Farmers Association, though perhaps not for much longer. Those pirate ships and submarines won't let any of our cargo vessels through, so now our produce just goes unharvested in the fields.
I know
Ich
your
gerne.
pain. So too has my father's business been disrupted. That's one reason why I'm here in the Bay, to see if I can help break up their monopoly that has affected so many of us.
Well, that's good to hear. Taking out their naval divisions would be a great start, but be careful. They look pretty dangerous. In the meantime, just help yourself to any of the crops in the fields around here. There are a couple of different types, so if you need to know any more about them, just ask. We're also short on farmhands. Most quit in fear. So I'll take any spare crops you have on hand and reward a few coin in return. Wheat grows in the fields around here. Pilots can perform an arrow harvesting maneuver with their propellers by flying through the fields. Just be careful not to hit the ground.
Ich jetzt?
There are different
Wie
types
geil
of
ist
wheat
das
to be
denn?
found in the islands. As you travel further out, the wheat becomes tougher to cut, so you will need to upgrade your propeller. But for the islands around here, your current propeller will be fine. Gopher potatoes are cultivated in the nearby fields. They can be harvested from the air, but they are too deeply rooted for your water gun to be effective. I can give you my old water bombing equipment for your plane. With a carefully placed bomb, you should be able to dislodge the potatoes and collect them.
Geil. Wir
There are other
bombardieren die
ingredients
Kartoffeln.
planted in the fields in the outer islands, but you will need to upgrade your bomb to dislodge them.
Welcome to the grand opening of our bar. Can I offer you a drink?
I'm Inspector Ruslana,
Oh.
Chief of Police and Brewing Standards Inspector for the City of Valais. I was the one that approved your permit application. So, I'm just here to make sure everything is in order as you open for business.
Aha, sie prüft das nur, ob das Reinheitsgebot auch eingehalten wird. Mhm.
Well then, consider it
Könnte auch
on the
ein Job
house
für
for
mich sein.
esteemed members of the law enforcement community.
I really shouldn't since I'm on duty, but I suppose just this once. Thank you. Let's see how this tastes. Bland and tasteless. I don't think you'll stay in business for long if you keep serving drinks like this.
I'm sorry to hear that. How can we make less boring drinks?
Your drinks will be more interesting if you add different ingredients, but be careful to get the proportions right, or it will just come out like sludge. That outfit is causing me problems. They pose as a legitimate brewing company, but they've been using strong-arm tactics and intimidation to coerce the local bars to stock their products, which are garbage, by the way. I've managed to keep things in check around here, but in the outer islands, I've heard they have an absolute monopoly. So be warned that if you compete with them, you need to be prepared for a fight. You could invest into bar and brewery upgrades for greater returns. Or you can invest into your plane to pull off more efficient deliveries, battle pirates, or complete quests, to name a few. It's really up to you how you'd like to grow your company. I still haven't gotten the awful taste of that last one out of my mouth yet. So, no. thank you.
Traumatisiert. Direkt traumatisiert. So schafft man Kundschaft. So, dann bleibt nichts anderes raus, als rauszufliegen und nochmal Stoff zu holen, ne? Aber warte. Haben wir denn hier schon Rezepte drin stehen in der Brauerei? Man muss da echt draufbleiben. Man darf da nicht sofort wegklicken. Die 60 plus Apple. Heavy Grape, Ferment Cider, 50 plus Apple. Deep Apple Cider, Honey. Tomatenrum. Okay. Gehen wir mal los und schauen mal nach, was wir so abräuten können.
Now, with all the technical information out of the way, we are free to do whatever we want. I might suggest we visit the local bars and see if they're willing to buy brews from us. The more bars we can deliver to, the more money we can make. We could start with a bar called the Pelican and Pipe. It's just around the corner from here. I'll put down a marker at the location. Let's pay them a visit.
Dann machen wir das doch mal. Oh, okay. Das war zu hart. Bleiben wir auf jeden Fall. Nicht zu hart. Kurze Strecken sollten wir vielleicht auf dem Wasser bleiben.
Welcome to the Pelican and Pipe. Peter's the name, though some call me Old Man McGee. Fancy a pint, or you're just gonna gawk about? Suit yourself then. What can I do you for? Ah, prickly beer, nectar of the gods. It's mostly what we like to drink around here. It can be sweet or crispy, fruity or dry, but nothing beats that prickly sensation in the back of your throat. It's made from prickly wheat, of course. You might have seen the golden fields nearby. In fact, they should be ready for harvesting right now. It's also used to make a delicious vodka, and we might ask for that once in a while, but to be honest, we're mostly about the beer. Well, as a matter of fact, I am. Of course, normally I'd get my stock imported from Old Blighty, but times are tough. Still, you seem like a reliable chap, and we're basically neighbors, so I'll give you a chance. I'll draw up a contract right away. Just to get you started, here's a recipe for a brew we like around here. Of course, you don't have to follow it exactly, but it should give you an idea to begin with. Make sure you deliver on time, though. I've no patience for contract breakers. And be sure the quality is good. I've got standards to maintain.
Ja, tu mein Bestes.
Looks like we've received our first contract. Next time we dock, we can open the contract and read the details. When the notification panel in the HUD shows up like that, it means there's something we should attend to. In this case, it means we have a new contract pending acceptance.
Speed 5 days to accept 4.
We can manage our delivery contracts by pressing the Brew Contracts button on the docking menu. Let's do that now. Here we have all of our contracts with the newest outlined in green. Contracts that are pending can be accepted or declined by first selecting them. Once you accept a contract, you are committed to delivering the full amount within the number of days on the contract. If you fail to do that, there are penalties, so don't accept a contract if you don't intend to fulfill it. But right now we need the cash, so let's go ahead and accept this one. Now that we've accepted the contract, it moves into the lower panel. Would you like an explanation on each field?
Nee, das mindestens Alkohol, höchsten Alkohol, 51 Stück, Prickly Weed, Kategorie Bier, 5 Tage Zeit. Okay. Dann holen wir mal Äpfel rein und dieses Prickly Weed, wenn wir es dann finden. Das sieht nach einem Feld aus. Einfach durchfliegen, ne? Möglichst knapp am Boden und nicht im Boden. Probieren wir das mal. Ich bete mal und kreuz mir die Finger. Ja, das hier war schon mal das richtige Weed-Zeug. Ne, wir brauchen Bindern. Ja, braucht man ein bisschen Ruhe für. Das ist nichts für Hektiker hier. So, vorsichtig anfliegen, nicht tief. Okay, ja, fliegen wir mal zurück. So. Wo war jetzt unsere Bar? War die nicht hier drin? Ne, da ist kein Hangar. sind wir doch butterweich gelandet. Können wir also auch. So.
Oh man, the plane is wrecked. I don't think our insurance policy covers reckless flying.
Ja, wir reparieren das jetzt einmal schnell. Tanken wir mal auf. So. Inventory. Und alles in die Brauerei. Und in die Brauerei. Auf 35%.
Now that we have an accepted contract, we'll want to make a brew that will fulfill the terms. Shall I explain some helpful features in the brewery?
Ja.
First, let's start by opening the contract panel. In the accepted contracts panel, at the end, there's a button which will pin the contract in the brewery. Just click that button now. Great. We've pinned the contract. Listed here is our main ingredient and the required type of brew. Now let's see if we have a recipe for that brew. Let's open the recipe panel. Here's all the recipes we've collected so far. You can pin any one of them for easy reference by clicking them. Let's find a recipe for our desired brew type, made from our desired ingredient. You don't have to use a recipe from the book. If you're feeling lucky, you can try experimenting, but recipes are a more reliable method. Hopefully the rest is up to us. Happy brewing.
Auf 35% haben wir hiervon. Dann machen wir 20 plus. Dann war so ungefähr 10% Äpfel mit drauf geben. Den. Äh, 45, 53. Das müsste ungefähr das Verhältnis sein. So. Mindestens 5, maximal 12. Das wird ja fermentiert. Und jetzt wollen wir daraus Bier fermentieren. Bohnen, ein stilischer Apfel. Das sieht gut aus. So, können wir mal kurz in die Bar schauen, wie es da so aussieht. Das ist der Sales Report. Nichts. New Contract, okay. Hier können wir noch einen Barmanager einstellen. Okay, weil die beide schon drin sind. Okay. Auch nur 51, ne? 51 Einheiten. Dann liefern wir doch mal.
That was very kind of the farmer to donate his water bombing equipment. I'm sure we can put it to good use. It's installed on the secondary ability slot on the plane. Like most abilities, it too is dependent on the water meter to function. Just use the secondary input to use the secondary ability. If we have more than one secondary ability equipped, we can cycle the ability. At some point, we should give it a try and water bomb some of the farm fields.
Erstmal geben wir unseren Stoff ab. Aber dann bleiben wir auf der Wassernähe. Wir schwimmen. Das ist mir, glaube ich, bei der kurzen Strecke einfach sicherer. Also es ist eine ziemlich verrückte Idee. Wir sind jetzt ja noch nicht zu Luftkämpfen oder sowas gekommen, aber da stelle ich mir schon ziemlich hart vor. Zumindest mit der Maschine und mit der Flugperformance, die die Maschine aufbringt. Oh. Jetzt einfach nur in die Bar gehen, oder?
About time you showed up. We're all parched around here.
Ändern wir doch direkt.
Show me what you got then. Well, that's definitely on the average side, but it'll do. That's all the units. Thank you very much, Squire. We'll be in touch with another contract in due course.
Wäre schön. Geld verdient. Hey!
It's nice to see a satisfied customer. Let's keep this up.
So. Aber an dieser Stelle beenden wir dann jetzt auch das angespielt. Wir haben jetzt natürlich noch keine Luftkämpfe gesehen, aber ich denke mal, das wird wieder ziemlich hart werden, weil die Maschine hier ist unheimlich schwerfällig. Mal schauen, ich finde es auf jeden Fall spannend. Ich werde es auf jeden Fall noch ein bisschen weiter daddeln. Vielleicht mache ich da nochmal ein späteres zweites angespielt draus, quasi ein weitergespielt, wo man dann sehen kann, was da so noch weiter kommt. Mal schauen. Ich bedanke mich auf jeden Fall bei euch fürs Zuschauen. Ich hoffe, es hat euch Spaß gemacht und euch einen guten Einblick in das Spiel verliehen. Das ist wieder sehr interessant. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, lasst mir gerne einen Daumen nach oben da und schreibt mir das in die Kommentare rein. Und wenn ihr natürlich nicht verpassen wollt, was ich hier sonst noch in den nächsten Tagen auch mal wieder anspielen werde und wie es dann natürlich später auch mit dem Pacific Drive Let's Play weitergeht, dann abonniert auch gerne meinen Kanal, das freut mich ebenfalls sehr. Ich wünsche euch noch eine angenehme Nacht, macht es gut, bis zum nächsten Mal, ciao ciao, euer Körst.